So Andy, we've launched Swim England's new strategy. Tell us about it. What can people expect to see from it?
Well, I hope people see change. That's the fundamental thing we're trying to signal. We're going to call the strategy One Swim England. That's a very deliberate attempt to say that we're really serious about change and changing in so much as we want to be much more collaborative, both internally and externally. There's far too much work to be done for one organisation to do that work all by itself. So we're really serious about working in partnership with other organisations who share our ambition. So really excited to finally make it. It's been a long time in the coming. We've done a lot of engagement with our community, with stakeholders, and so really excited about the launch.
There'll be key messages in there. Can you just give us an outline of what they are?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the most fundamental changes is we've got a clear articulation of our organisational values. That defines the culture, and culture lies at the very heart of everything that we're trying to change. We're all very familiar with the listening report that was published back in March, some of the other issues that the sport has faced in recent years. So the solution to these problems is to address our culture. The other really significant shift is to maintain our focus on developing talented athletes in all of the disciplines, but also to really increase our focus on making sure people enjoy aquatics for life, so lifelong participation, and linking that to health. We've done some great work around health, but I think we can do more and articulate the benefits to the nation of really getting everybody in the water swimming and improving the health of the nation and helping the national cause in terms of saving the NHS, etc.
How have we reached this point then? Why is this approach necessary?
Well, we're not developing a new strategy because we've got a new CEO, let's be really clear about that. But before I started, it was very clear to me that the strategy we had in place didn't talk about values. And I think in this day and age where we live in a very crazy world, of a fast-changing, fast-moving world, you have to have principles that you follow. Whether you're in a leadership position or any position in an organisation, you need to have something that guides you through those difficult decisions. So that's the single biggest change. So that was really where it started for me. But then what we also did, we got in the car, got on the road, so to speak. We engaged, we did 13 road shows, 13 different venues. We got a fantastic insight from our community. And that was something that was really important to us, to make sure we heard from people, all different corners of our community. We're a very broad kirk. It was important that we gave everybody the opportunity to engage. And the strategy that we're publishing now is very much a product of the input, the insight we got from our community. So I'm really grateful to everybody, not just at the roadshows. We also had lots and lots of workshops with national operators, with committees, with other stakeholder groups. So it's really been a collective effort to get to this stage.
You referenced earlier on the name of the strategy, One Swim England. Tell us what you mean by that.
Yeah, I'm not usually a big fan of giving a strategy a name, but I think it was really appropriate this time because my reflection when I look at how we work internally, we could have been much more collaborative, I think, in the past than we have been, and it's essential. It takes effort to be collaborative and collegiate in the way that you do things. But then when we look externally as well, we look at some of the other organisations who share our ambition, perhaps, but we didn't really join up with them in the way we should have done in the past. So it's to say, people have only got time to read the front cover of the strategy, take that one message away, that we're serious about collaboration, both internally and externally.
It's interesting you say internally and externally, because on both fronts it feels like a turning point for Swim England. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I don't want to be over dramatic about it, but at the same time we said very clearly in March that the listening report was a key moment for our sport. It was a key moment for change, and that was a really serious commitment from me as CEO and from the board, and that keeping people safe so they can enjoy our sports was absolutely our number one priority. So that runs through, I hope, the new strategy absolutely like a golden thread. And if we can keep people safe from harm so that they can enjoy whatever role they want to play in the sport, whether they're in the water, whether they're on poolside, whether they're in the committee room, a boardroom, coaching, teaching, whatever it might be, if everybody is safe to enjoy the sport, then that's a great place to start from.
The listening report demonstrated the need for change, as you've mentioned, particularly in terms of culture. Mm-hmm. That won't happen overnight though, will it? So when can people expect to start seeing the results of the new strategy?
Yeah, it's not going to happen overnight for sure, but we can, the message I try and share with colleagues internally and with our committees and board members is we've got to be the change we want to see. we have no hope of shifting the culture. We can't ask a club or a county or a region or a member to change the culture if we don't practice what we preach and we go first. So it's very much about us showing that leadership. And I'm very proud of the mission where we talk about leading and serving. I think that's a really powerful combination. The roadshows told us very clearly that despite everything that's gone on in the past, the community wants us to lead the sport, and we accept that responsibility. It's a privilege and a great responsibility. But at the same time, we want to serve an aquatics community. We want to grow that community and serve it. And that's a really powerful word, because it means anticipating what people need from the sports, whatever part of the community they come from. So whether they're an elite athlete, an aspiring elite athlete, whether somebody like me who's not particularly good at swimming but really enjoys it, and they're just doing it for the sheer love of the sport, it doesn't matter. We want everybody to have a great experience.
So how confident are you as CEO of Swim England that the members of the community that we serve will see tangible effects of this new strategy?
Yeah, I don't take it for granted. It's a huge undertaking to shift that culture, but I'm seeing the green shoots, if you like, already. You know, we're getting great feedback. We had great feedback at the road shows from the people that came along. We've had great feedback from the engagement we've done with other stakeholders over the last couple of months around the strategy and around some of the changes that we've made already. And we've got more changes to make. We're making changes to our senior leadership team. We're creating some new positions, the kind of positions we've never had in the past. So I hope that signals the intent, but it's now incumbent on us as an organisation and me as CEO to really live those changes and bring them into fruition. So I hope it's going to be more of a, we want to make rapid and significant change, as quickly as we can, but make it in a way that's authentic and meaningful and long-lasting. So it's not about gesture, it's not about optics, it's about really being authentic and really living the change we want to see. So I'm hopeful that people are beginning to see that already, and that will just continue in the coming weeks, months and years.
You've been in post as CEO now for 9 months. It's hard to believe that it was 9 months ago we were sat here talking like this. What have you made of the organisation that you've come into?
That's a big question. Difficult one to do justice to in a few short sound bites, but it's an organisation that has some enormous challenges, but enormous opportunities. We've got things wrong in the past. We've talked about this after the listening report. The listening report could not be clearer about the things that we've got wrong. We've got to shift the culture. We've got to match the focus that we have on performance with a focus on lifelong participation and health and well-being. And we've got to keep people safe. So those are huge responsibilities and huge improvements that we need to make. But the opportunities are enormous. And when I was preparing for interview for this role, and when I was preparing to take on the role after my interview, I'd anticipated that we had a role to play in keeping people physically active and helping the health of the nation. But I completely underestimated just to what extent our sports can impact that agenda. So I'm hugely excited about that. And it's not just about what Swim England can do, it's about what we can do with partners who share that belief and that ambition. So yeah, there's a huge amount of work to do, and I'm facing difficult decisions every day and making difficult decisions every day, and I don't expect that to change anytime soon. But as I say, I'm beginning to see the green shoots, but they're no more than green shoots at the moment, and we need to keep working hard and hard and hard and really driving that change through.
Can't let you leave without another big question then. So you, from a personal perspective, what would you hope that the world of aquatics will look like, say, in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time, in 15 years' time?
Yeah, classic interview question. I think, in 5 years' time, and I hope sooner than 5 years from now, people will recognise that Swim England has shifted its approach, that we're far more collaborative, far more open, that we do things with people, not to people, that we genuinely listen, that we are genuinely a customer-focused organisation. We try to uncover and get insight into what people need from our sports, and we try and provide that need, whether we do it directly ourselves, whether we do it working in partnership with others. I think that's really the change we want to see. And then looking longer term, I want to see enormous investment in our pool stock, and I see that investment coming primarily from the public sector, but also actually to some extent from the private sector. But I think it's our job, working with others, to convince government that investing in swimming pools is a really smart investment in the health of the nation. And I think we've begun to make that case, but we've got a long way to go to really get that case home, loud and clear to the new government that we have at the moment and future governments.
I promise you this will be the final question. That's quite interesting what you just said there, because it's not just about culture and change within, it's about nationwide infrastructure as well then, is it?
Absolutely. This sport's quite different to many other sports. When most sports are scratching their heads figuring out how to increase participation or how to increase demand for participation. Broadly, we still have huge inequalities that we need to address, but broadly we don't have a demand problem, we have a supply problem. We don't have enough swimming pools, we don't have enough clean, open water for people to go and swim in. So that's our problem. So it's quite unusual in a sporting context to face that problem. So yeah, national infrastructure is one of the biggest challenges we face.